So in this video, we are going to style this Aweber page from scratch using the OptimizePress live editor builder, and we're going to try and model the similar layout through this entire page that they've got, putting in our own elements. So let's get started. Now let's get started here. Let's bring up some stuff for you to see. What I have done, I've created a notes page, which I'll bring across onto the screen here from my other monitor. And this is really just sort of some dummy text. I've also got my video embed code and things, and I've written out some benefits and using some dummy sort of lorem ipsum text. I'll just release some dummy text that we're going to use to fill up the page, just so I can get things doing or going quicker for you. I've also added in some images into my media library. Okay, so I've got my images ready for the background images that I want to use to model from their page. I've already uploaded them. I've also got my testimonial images ready as inside my media library as well. So I'm going to create this page from scratch. If I go quick, don't worry, you can jump back and pause this video. The template will be available inside our Clubhouse for Clubhouse members. If you're not a member, obviously you can either join up or you can follow me along in this video. Some bits I might skip through just to try and get it going quicker, so you haven't got to sit and watch me do every element. But we're going to get started. I'm going to start with a blank page completely. So going down here, I'm choosing the full width page, and I'll use this, and I'm going to call this page Teardown 1, just so I know it's from the first teardown. Okay, and I've obviously got the Aweber page open here, so I'm going to be putting in one row across the top here, which is going to have a background image. Then I've got my text across the top. Looking here, this is going to be another row as well, with the CEO mission statement, so I'm going to put in 2 rows. So let's go back to my page. I'll add in 1 column, scroll down, insert this. I'll open up the pencil icon. This is going to be a full width row as well. Actually, jumping back, we've also got the header area here. So I'm going to try and produce a similar header. Now, they've got a logo on the left, and they've got these links here that jump to the page. I'm going to not create that. I'm just going to create a simple header navigation, and I want it to be neatly laid out. So I've got a logo on the left and I've got my join button on the right. So for that, I'm going to use a 4-column layout, and I'm going to insert that at the top as well. So I'll have my logo on the left and I'll have my join button over on the right hand side. We'll set that to be full row as well. I've got my row here. I'm going to clone this row down, so we've got our 2 row there. And what I'm going to keep doing is jumping off to obviously my note page that I showed you. It's got my colors and things, or my hex colors and things, so I can quickly copy them and bring them back to this page and just paste them in. So here, I'm going to pop in this and click update. And I'm just going to I'm obviously styling mine, obviously completely different colors to Aweber. I'm not going to be using their colors. I'm going to put an image, select file. And I did add my logo here, so insert my logo. So you can't see it because the logo is white, that's why you're not seeing it there, and it appears here. I then want to add a button at the top, so do a search for button designer, and I had some nice orange colors. I'll go and get my orange colors. Now the styling, I'll expand the text here in the styling, and I'll leave the border. Put the border to 0, my styling there, my width to be a little bit less than that. Font color, I'm going to change to white. Turn off the drop shadow and the inner shadow. I'm going to also take off the shine. Okay, I'm going to reduce the height and possibly the width. And my text sizing, I'm going to drop that down about 18 there. I'm going to change this to say free trial. Insert, so I've now got my little button there appearing. And probably what I'll do is I'll go through and add all the font and text and everything in, and I can come back and style it and start positioning things around. Initially I want to get the overall layout of the site. So in this row I'm going to put in one of my background images. Just scroll down, select my file, media library, actually I want my other one there. I'm going to choose full size on this one. You can choose large or full size. I'll click update. You can see it's only positioned it in the center here. So what I need to do is obviously set this to be cover and stretch. So going back in, edit, cover and stretch, and then update. So it fills that screen right way across. Then we're going to add in headline. Go back and copy my text file. Insert that in here. Now I'm obviously going to make it white so it's easier to read. I'm going to change the font to use the Source Sans Pro. Set the font to be white, and we're going to give it some spacing of -1 and make it bold. And then I want my supporting headline. I'm just going to use a text block. And increase the font on this a little bit because it's just a text. Go back to my Source Sans Pro. And I also wanted to line it center. Select. So I'll click save and continue just to make sure I've got a saved version. I could also publish this. If I choose show and hide controls here, I can flick back to the Aweber site just to see sort of the positioning and what they've got. We then want to add in these call to actions here. We're going to put in a little button. So obviously I need to put some more spacing in this so I can come back and do all that towards the end. Next thing we'll do is get this video sort of element here. We click on this and it loads up. We can use the overlay optimizer for that. So if I jump back in here, I want to add the overlay optimizer. I'll use button designer. And for my styles, I want to turn off lots of styling here. Turn off all these. Obviously, this is going to show you a completely white image here. This is because obviously all the white text, you can't see it through obviously the white background in this element, but the text is there, so don't worry about that just now. Next, we'll add in the video. Next, we're going to add in another button underneath. Okay, so we've added all that in. I'm going to click save and continue just to test how this is looking already with the overlay optimizers. We'll save that and then we'll preview. So here's my page so far. Here's my overlay optimizer. That's all working and the video comes in. Obviously now I need a bit of spacing in here, and this button, the border could probably be a little bit bigger. And notice this is a spacing element. I'm just going to drag it and put it above here. And I want a bit of space above this subheading. If I open up the pencil icon, scroll down, advanced options, I could put some padding above here. So I could, let's say 25 pixels, and that will increase a little bit of space above that heading there, okay? Let's open up this button as well and change that border style or the border width. Okay, there it is, the page sort of slowly coming together. Added that obviously larger border around that button. Okay, next we want to put in sort of this CEO or this title testimonial type area that we've got there. So go back, let's put in a different color. Actually, what I've done here, I've put in the wrong style of row because I want the image to be on the left, which is the image of the face, and I want the text to be on the right. So I'm going to choose this layout, 1/3 and 2/3, and then I'm going to put in take that color that I just used here. Okay, so I'll just explain that again why I've done it. I want the image of the face on the left. I'm going to delete that row out. We go back to Aweber, we see we've got this image on the left, and we've got the text on the right. So that's what I'm trying to sort of model here, is we've got the image on the left and then text on the right. So we're using a 1/3 and 2/3 row style. So I can go in, add my image. Okay, next part, we're going to add another row, single column row. Actually, I'm going to use a text block for this. You could either use a headline or a text block, either or. So this is the section going further down. What we're going to start doing is building this sort of featured block area here. So this is sort of the area I'm working on just now. And to get that featured block, we're using a whole row for obviously the headlines. It goes all the way across. And we have another row here, which is going to have the featured block elements in it. Actually, I say no, we can just do it all in the same row because it's just going to be a featured block. So it's absolutely fine to go in. Okay, so I'm going to choose 3 column. Let me just work through these and add these all in. Okay, so there's our first featured block element, which we've got similar to theirs. And then what we're going to do is then clone this entire block down again. And then do the other elements. So we've now got our featured block here. I'm going to add some spacing because I need my title to be a little bit of spacing between that and the featured block. So I'm going to put this here and then drag it up a bit. Okay, so let's quickly jump and see how it's looking just now. Refresh it. Okay, so we've got the logo and the header area, and we've got the background image, the button, testimonial and things. and it's all going in. Lots of spacing to do there, which I'm going to do at the end. So let's jump back. Okay, looking at their page, they've then added the call to action button. So we're going to go and add our call to action button here. Now, to get the call to action button, I've already made it up here. So what I'll do is I'll just clone it, pick on the cross icon, drag it down, and drop it here, and then style it. And again, I want some space, so I'm going to clone this spacer here, bring it down. I might actually take that up a bit, even to about 50 pixels. Okay, so jumping back to their page, we then go into the social proof, the customer testimonial area. So I want to style my existing page. I want to keep the same font styles that I've got. And again, I can just obviously clone these all the way down, or copy them and drag them. So if I'll add another row in here, if you're wondering why I keep saving it, it's because that's just how I work. Obviously, you can have the autosave feature turned on for the live editor, and it'll automatically save your pages as you go. So let's clone this, drag this down here. And now I want to get this sort of testimonial look here. So I'm going to go for a 2-column row, which I'm going to be adding in here. So add row, 2-column, insert. Now I've created this testimonial once, no point creating it again. I can just clone it and drag it over to this side, and then just go and edit it. Okay, so jumping back to their page, they have the pricing table next. So I'm going to just add in some step graphics for ours. I'm not going to use the pricing table. So add another row. I could actually clone this row and drag that down, but this way I've just copied it and dragged it. Okay, there's the step graphics in. Now you notice here they're coming through white text. Now, what I have done is coded a little bit of custom CSS, which I'm going to add in to bring that color through. So if I go to page settings and other scripts, I'm going to choose custom CSS here. Now, obviously, this is obviously in the template in the Clubhouse. You haven't got to worry. Or if you're just following along, you just need to look on the screen and see the text that I've put in. And this is CSS code, which is going to style them step graphics. And I'll show you that in a second. So if I update, it's saved. If I go to the actual main page and refresh it, if I scroll down, there you go. You can see that color is now coming through on this page. Inside the live editor, it's not going to show yet until I close the live editor and reload it up. But I know the code's in there, so I'm not going to worry about that. This is positioned wrong. This needs to go above here. So I'll put that above. Okay, so jumping back over to the Aweber page, they've then got a call to action button, so we're going to do that. We've already added one up here, so I can simply copy that, drag it down, keep the same style button for this, and let's drop it. It's not coming down. Let's grab it again, put it there, put it a bit further down, and then I obviously want a spacing element. Okay, so the next bit, let's jump back over to here. Next we have this opt-in form area, so we're going to go and add in a new row, single column row, and from here we're going to start putting in our text. So I'm going to I'll copy this text from here, drop into there. I'm then just going to copy that, put in my supporting headline. Okay, so there's our opt-in form in. Let's just check. I'm going to remove the headline. Let's check this row is full width as well. I'm going to put a bit of spacing above. Okay, so we have our opt-in form. The next part I want to put in is our questions area that they've got at the bottom here. So we're going to add a new row for that. For this one, we'll probably use a 2/3, but the other side. So on the text, I want my text to be this side, which is the bigger text area. If I insert that, I'm not going to be using the other side, so I just want to put my text on the left. Then we'll cover and stretch. And then I want to put in my text, so I'm going to just take this text here. Okay, so there's the bottom end. Let's go to here and reload this page. And we've skipped through that video in some parts, I know, if you're following along. But you can now see we've got this page built, we've got the sections in. You now need to work on a bit of spacing, and there's kind of the layout. And if you look at it similar to here, we then have obviously this layout similar to this. So we've modeled it off their very successful page, and we're now going to put in a bit more spacing just to lay everything out a little bit. I need to add the footer on the bottom here. So what I'm going to do now is just go through adding spacing and probably using elements inside the actual rows. So I'll probably look at opening up, if I go back to the top here, open up rows, and I might be adding padding into the top and bottom areas here, just to give it all a bit of spacing. Let's check we have the footer. And turn on the footer area, just the default. Okay, so there's my footer. I'm just going to go through and do all the spacing on this. One thing I'm going to do is make my overlay optimizer a little bit wider because we've got a big video in there. So I go to advanced. Let's see, we've got it at 700. Actually, it is 700. I'll leave it at 700. Let's finish that there, and we'll reload. We'll just see what we've got. Well, you've probably seen it if I was skimming over the video there, just to showing you. So you can see here what I've done is pretty much laid everything out. Now this image is probably a little too big. I'm going to resize this image and probably put a bit of spacing around that. So let's take this up. Take that to 200. I might just give a bit of padding at the top of this, just to space out that mission statement area. Okay, so here's back to where we were at the start. Here's Aweber's page. This is their page styled, and this is the page that we've modeled ours off with the similar sort of call to actions and the elements that they've used that clearly are working for their optimization. And they're all, like we said before, they're all fundamental elements that are used on lots of other sites. So we're sort of trying to mimic or look at modeling something that's already successful. So here is our page. We've put in the logo, the background image. We've got the overlay optimizer with the video and the start free trial button in. Going below that, we've added in the mission statement. Then we've got our featured area. So just like, you know, they've got a featured block in. Then going down, the call to action. Customer testimonials. And then continuing on, we've put in some little step graphics, and I put in that custom CSS coding. They use a pricing table. Obviously, you could put in a pricing table, use one of the OptimizePress pricing tables. Again, a call to action. Then into the last opt-in form again at the bottom, which we've added there. And then closing it off with the questions graphic that we've used, and then the way to contact us. So there you have it, guys. I know that's a bit of a long video for some of you if you've been skimming through and jumping back and forth. But But you can see there I've quickly built a page, and I've modeled it off a successful site that's already there, using all the elements that are built into OptimizePress as standards. You can go and create these amazing looking pages. Now, would love your feedback on this. I hope you like the teardown. If there's any sites you want to see us try and model things off, or try and switch up and change, or try and copy certain elements that people use in web pages, maybe if they're using videos that load off different clicks of buttons and things, and maybe just how they're laying out certain structures, we'll give it a go, and would love your feedback. This template will be available in the Clubhouse. I could go on tweaking this now for probably another hour or so, just changing different things, moving spacing around, testing it on mobile to see how it looks on the mobile devices, and just tweaking things, probably adding in more spacing, putting in obviously custom text, changing buttons and things. We'll still need a little bit of work, but as you can see, we've quickly built a page from scratch. You've watched me build a page, entire page from scratch there, and it's modeled off a very successful industry-leading company. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching this video, and look out for more teardowns that we'll be doing covering all your favorite sites.